Peace and love, everybody. Thank you for chiming in. I am Queen of Fee, the founder of Domestic Violence Wiz Mini Tags Organization. I am here tonight, not because I want to be, but because I have to be right now. And tonight I just want to chime in and, open it up and um, get things moving along. I'm normally not a part of the Green Table Talk. So tonight, this is the Green Table Talk, which is for the men. Tonight, we are going to hear, the men talking and speaking up in terms of mental health and those things that fall under that for our brothers. Okay, and that could be, that could be a vast amount of things that brothers go through in terms of domestic violence, mental health issues, abandonment issues. Now I'm strolling. Now I'm strolling. I had to turn my Wi-Fi off to get back on here. Um, so as I stated, dealing with men that can talk about, the various issues that they face in terms of domestic violence. So many times we hear about women and how women are victims of domestic violence and how women are the ones who have the most violence perpetrated against them. And that's true, but we got a whole lot of new research too. There's a whole lot of new research out there that supports that men are victims of domestic violence too. So I just like to be fair in the conversation. I know better that I can't have the conversation without discussing men as victims of domestic violence. But of course, we don't really chime into that as being a thing for men. Men are ashamed because we've not made them welcome at the dinner table when it comes to this conversation. Our young men are ashamed because we've not made them welcome when it comes to this conversation. And I'm getting hits for people who want to join in too right now with us. So tonight is a very special episode of the Green Table Talk. I thought about the Green Table Talk too because you have Red Table Talk. You have all these different table talks, purple table talk, all these different purple, red, and green table talks. And I haven't seen Green Table Talk. I said green just now, but I haven't seen a Green Table Talk before. And especially not with men on the conversation. So this is a very special episode tonight. The brothers are going to be talking about various topics as it pertains to mental health and the things that we can do in terms of supporting them with their mental health. Okay. So we have our other brother who's chiming in now, Dr. U, somebody who ideally dearly admire. Betterman, can you turn your camera on? I'm gonna say a few words and I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna say a few more words because I've been saying some words, but I'm gonna say a few more words before I get out of here. Betterman is in the building,
What's up? What's up?
and this is a brother that he and I we go way back. Me and Doctor You go way back. We've been in this for a minute, okay? And I connection here tonight will be a fabulous one because Chad is in the community doing wonderful things. He's also an artist. And then Dr. You, of course, you are doing amazing things from a holistic approach in terms of getting the community healed. But tonight, of course, I want you to focus on men and the holistic approaches that we can take in terms of getting healed. So you guys go ahead and do what you do. There will be a third person coming to the conversation with you all. But Dr. You, this is Betterman, and Betterman, this is Dr. You. I want y'all to chime into
What's up, Doc?
the conversation. Can y'all hear me? Because I can't hear y'all.
I can hear you.
Y'all can hear me? Okay. Good. So I want y'all to chime into the conversation. And I'm gonna jump out the conversation. Thank y'all for coming on tonight. Stop our busy schedules and stuff. You done rushed to the dinner table. Thank you so much for getting there, Shed. Thank you. Y'all know it's all love, but we need to hear from you all. Okay, so let me move myself out of here. And Shed, you can go ahead and start it, kick it off with Dr. You.
All right.
What's up, y'all? Thanks to DVWMT, Domestic Violence Wears Many Tags, for inviting me here, to discuss this topic.
Oh shit!
A topic that definitely. Oh my God. Yeah, I think it's a topic that needs to be discussed. But again, let me introduce myself. My name is Shed Dawson, Shed. As a music artist, I go by Betterman. I used to go by Mo Better, until there was some conflict with, a lot of people trying to. We still here. I don't see no pictures.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, we still here though. Okay, cool. So I guess I can just keep going. No one glitch don't stop that. You learn that at showbiz. So yeah, I changed my name because there was a lot of different people trying to use the same name for whatever reason. Everybody whose name was Maurice, when they rap or somebody called you Mo, they just put Better on the end. So yeah, I'm Better Man these days. Recently divorced for the second time. 5 kids. The 6th one is in heaven. 3 grands with another one on the way. Bus driver by day. Rapper the rest of the time. So when it comes to domestic violence and the being abandoned and things like that, I think my issue started young, because as a kid, my mother, as I'm told, my mother tried to abandon me. She took me to Florida. I was born in South Carolina, but my family is from Florida and South Carolina, but moved here before I was born. Moved back down there by the time I was conceived, and then I was born there. But then we came right back up here. But somewhere in there, when I was a baby, my mother went to move with her aunt in Florida, and her aunt called my grandmother and said that you better get your ass down here. She done gave that baby away. So my grandmother, as she tells the story, she got in her car, drove from South Carolina to Florida all by herself all night long. Got down there, went to the lady house. It was a white lady, so who knows who I would be if I wouldn't have got snatched back. But yeah, so she went and got me, and she raised me ever since. Mom's was in and out. Never knew my father. Um, and I never really tried to pay attention or focus on that because I always felt like my grandmother was there. That's all I needed. But at the same time, somewhere deep down, I'm sure it does something to me over the years. But today, me and my mom relationship is cool. She's here in the city in DC. We got a cool relationship, and I don't carry no grudges from none of that. But at the same time, I do believe in speaking with Queen and doing other counseling before. I do believe that it has something to do with my attitude and how I may uh, treat women, not fully trusting them, the way that I deal with them and stuff like that. But, I never recognized it until it was brought to my attention. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, as far as domestic violence goes, on that note, I have dealt with domestic violence within relationships with females, you know what I'm saying, where for some reason or another they felt like they can hit me when they got upset, you know what I'm saying? And, I've never been a woman beater myself, but, I've always been taught and I always said to myself, if I get hit by anybody, I'm gonna hit them back. And I think that's where the misconnect in the conversation comes, because when it's us, we woman beaters, you know what I'm saying? But when it's them, it's like we still supposed to bite it and eat it. Like, you soft if you call the police on her, and then you soft if you hit her back because you hit harder than her. It's what is said a lot, you know what I'm saying? It's like he ain't had to hit her like that. He know he could have knocked her head off. But she punched me in my eye though, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a natural reaction and my reflexes, I'm going to swing back. So, we tend to be looked at as wrong for even protecting ourselves when it comes to a female. Like, we supposed to just restrain them, or we supposed to just hold them down because we automatically stronger. And I'm going to tell you like this. I done dealt with some women. I don't know if they were stronger than me or not because we ain't arm wrestle or lift no weights against each other, but they wasn't no weak women. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't really dealt with women that's been like real petite, tiny women that I was considered a giant to. They either been my size, sometimes they've been taller than me, and sometimes thicker than me. You know what I'm saying? But I had a few of them that one girl, she punched me in my eye because as we was driving down the street, the apartment complex that we were staying in had a cut that everybody walked through to get to the 7-Eleven that was on this side. So we driving this way, and she in the passenger seat, I'm driving, which was totally dangerous for her to even swing on me while I'm driving, but I wasn't going that fast. It was a residential neighborhood. But as I looked over to my right and I saw there was two females there, I didn't stare. It just so happened that when she saw me facing that way, she just stole me. And I'm like, what the? You know what I'm saying? I automatically threw the brake and you know, I caught her a couple of times, but I didn't like that I did that, but it was just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't hit me because I look that way. I'm looking at, you know, I'm observing my surroundings. I'm not, that could have been anybody right there. You know what I'm saying? It just so happened to be two girls. If it was two dudes, you wouldn't have swung. If it was 10 kids, you wouldn't have swung. So if it's two females, you shouldn't have swung either. You know what I'm saying? But they don't be feeling like they wrong for that. And I, you know, she did apologize, and this was a long time ago. Me and her all cool right now. You know what I'm saying? To this day, we cool. What's up, bro?
What's up,
Welcome.
guys? How you doing?
Welcome, man. Yeah, I was just talking about a little incident. You know what I'm saying? Getting into the domestic violence and things like that. By the way, I'm Betterman. You know what I'm saying? And Dr. U up here. What's your name, bro?
Matt. I'm with DC Fatherhood Initiative.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was invited, man. It's an honor to be on here actually, because this is a platform that speaks to. I guess you guys are developing a platform that speaks to, you know, the traumatic experiences that we do face as fathers and, you know, men overall. And, you know, what we promote on the DC fatherhood side is, you know, that fraternal bond that we create with our children, you know, with one another. You know what I'm saying? We just provide that safe space just to, you know, I guess to build, you know, work, learn, and just, you know, just support one another as in an open forum setting. So I feel honored to be invited here.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro.
Yeah, I have my own little experiences too, but I'll let me know when it's my turn.
Yeah, that was one situation. Actually, I with my recent ex that I just divorced from, you know, she had a problem too. I think with her, she was used to fighting her ex, and they would fight each other. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Like when I first started talking to her, I think they were still cool, and they was like, well, according to her, she's a compulsive liar, so you can twist it however you want to twist it. But she was saying that they were still cool and cordial, and would hang out from time to time, but let her tell it they wasn't having sex. But it just so happened one day she came to me at the job, because I used to have a night evening run. I work for Metro, by the way. So I had an evening run, and she was like, you know, trying to work her magic and send the representative to bring me in. So she would bring me lunch on my break, even though she'd be off, like, she worked like 5 to 1. And my break would be like 7 something, and she'd come out there and bring me some food. But one day she came and she told me he stole her. You know what I'm saying? Because she told him about me. But me and her wasn't together yet. You know what I'm saying? We was just kicking it. And so, like, for me, I'm like, that's some sucker shit for him to steal her. But at the same time, you know, I'm like, she ain't my woman. I ain't about to just
jump off that porch.
Yeah, just jump off that porch and be like, where that nigga at, and all that type of shit. Like, nah. You know, I'm the type of dude, yeah, I'll fight for you to protect you, but I never fight over you. You know what I'm saying? If that makes any sense. Like, I always carried that with me. Like, in my head, I fight for you, but not over you. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to make a decision to go somewhere else with somebody else, peace out. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, but I think because I heard that story in the very beginning, and then I started seeing the violent pattern, I actually told her we wasn't going to get married unless she went and got some therapy.
You said that on your own recount?
Yeah, I said that to her. I was like, you need some anger management. You know what I'm saying? But what happened was she wound up going to a lady in a house joint, and the lady didn't accept Kaiser, but she accepted her private insurance. I think she had Blue Cross or something. We both work for Metro, but she was going to the lady initially for herself. Somehow or another, the subject got switched on me, and then it became let's bring Mo in so we can fix Mo. Mo's the problem. It's like were
you already in counseling yourself? Your individual counseling?
I wasn't.
Okay, that would have been a better look for you too.
Yeah, I started to afterwards, right?
Okay.
I started doing the talk therapy with Kaiser.
Okay.
Because she wouldn't accept Kaiser. So I was like, all right, well, let me find something within. So I started doing that. But I mean, we've been through 3 counselors, bro. And it was like every time, you know, whether she went before me with the first one or we went together with the last 2, it was always like her idea was fix Mo. If Mo get on board with what I want him to do, I'm gonna be perfect for Mo. She felt like she ain't had no issues. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, how do you deal with a person if you can go to a counselor by yourself for about 3-4 sessions before you bring me in, and y'all never dealt with, you know, how you were raised, your upbringing, what your dad was like, how your mom carried things at the home. Y'all ain't discussed none of that to see who you are as a person and how that counselor can help you. But y'all already jumped to, let's bring Mo in and then we can do it together. As long as we get Mo on the page, then, you know, everything gonna be love. And I'm like, that didn't even make sense to me. But she tried to call herself changing, but then it was still, you know, it would come back up. She loved to argue, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a Taurus, so I got a sharp tongue when I get upset. And when I feel disrespected, I disrespect even harder, you know what I'm saying? And that was never good, you know? And it led to a lot of stress, a lot of BS, and then ultimately it led to our divorce.
Yeah.
You know? But she also, you know, struck me a couple of times when she was mad about dumb shit, bro. I'm talking about we went to the movies and I asked her to get the snacks while I get in line and get the tickets I ordered online. And this was in Rivertown. We had already been to iPick and Bethesda and all that shit, spent big money. I paid for everything. But over here, she talked to me like I tried to trick her. You know, tell me, don't do that shit ever again. If you ain't got it to pay for everything, tell me up front. By now, we in the relationship, like we married now. I'm like, yo, this our money. Like, ain't no if I ain't got it, tell you nothing. It's like I paid for the tickets while I'm in line getting them. You can grab the snacks. But she was like, she acted like I was a dude that just met her and was trying to work her. You know what I'm saying? Not telling her I ain't have enough money or some shit. I was like, it ain't about not having enough money. I had it. Well, you should have got it then. That movie don't even cost that much. That's my whole point, though. I was paying for the shit when it was $36 a seat at iPick. And hold on. There, she would get the drinks. Because, you know, they bring you the drinks and food.
Yeah.
She would get it there when I paid for those expensive seats.
Yeah.
But when I paid for the cheaper seats, she carried it like I was working her. So on the way home, we arguing, cussing each other out. And, you know, I got out of character. I'm calling her names and shit. Man, she popped off, man. I ain't even hit her back, though. I was just like, you know what? It's over. We got to the house. I got out. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't leave, though. I'll probably stay with her another 2 years. But, yeah, that shit was wild. I'm glad I'm out of it now, though. A lot of stress off my back, man. But I ain't going to talk to y'all to death, man.
What have you learned from it?
What I learned from it is that, you know, I could never let anyone control my emotions. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what they doing, I got to control me. You know, and if a person feels like they can control your emotions, you pretty much their puppet.
So what about you can't prevent every risk. You know what I mean? You can't.
No, you can't.
So what about when there's a time when you actually do succumb to it? Like how are you? What are your? Have you planned for the things that to just catch yourself? Those things.
Yeah,
to keep you good.
Yeah, where I'm at now, right? I'm more so into, you know what I'm saying, ignoring negativity. And that means if I gotta leave, I just leave. I used to be in a position where I always felt like because when we met, we both had, premarital properties. But then she moved here, you know what I'm saying, and was renting her house out. And so for me, when we got into it here, bro, it's hard as hell to just walk out your house, man, that you had before you met this person. Now, had we got it together, I probably would have been able to just leave. But something in my head was like, man, why the fuck you gonna leave out your own house?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? But at this point, I'm like, if I get in another relationship, that's a big if.
I'm gonna leave you with this because I know time's short.
Yeah.
But one thing that we're doing right now over at the Fatherhood Initiative, it has a lot to do with parenting and relationship building and things like that. Mm-hmm. So one thing I feel like you can benefit from is just being intentional. You know what I mean, and your movement, and intentional in your being.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing now, we're in a segment where we're fasting. You know what I mean, and it's not necessarily a fast. It's just from a certain time of the day or like a month, but we're giving up something similar to like what you do in Ramadan.
Oh, Ramadan.
Yeah. So similar to that, but we doing stuff like foul language, TV, you know what I'm saying, beef or pork, juice, you know what I'm saying, or liquor or tobacco or something, smoking or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it could be. And as you grow from those situations, you wanna grow holistically. Is why I'm saying this to you. So sounds like you out of it now. So give yourself whatever. Let's say during that situation, like you said, you just taught us just now that you get out of character and you say some messed up stuff to her. Maybe you fast from saying messed up stuff. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you give up foul language for like a month. You know what I'm saying? With the rest of the summer, you just say, I ain't about to joan on nobody. I ain't about to go on nobody. If I don't have if it's not positive, or if I'm not seeking knowledge or seeking some form of development, I'm not gonna open my mouth up and say it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you do that because not only do you grow from that situation, but you bury the past. You bury where you grew from. Now you're grass rooted in your development and not your hurt. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know if that makes sense to you, but if you need help, man, I can take the journey with you. You know what I'm saying? We can exchange numbers and things like that. I know we have mutual contacts and stuff like that, so I can reach out to whoever and we can connect, bro.
That's what's up, man.
Man, that's great, man. I wanna add on to what Matthew just said and just share something that one of my teachers shared with me in terms of communication. And that is, before we speak, especially in relationships, there's 3 questions that we should ask ourselves. And is what I'm saying about to benefit God? Is it going to benefit me, or is it going to benefit the other person? And if the answer is no to any of those 3, or to all of those 3, then we probably shouldn't be saying it. And if we take a moment to really think about, our responses before we actually jump to respond, a lot of communication conflicts can be, even if not avoided, it could be kind of like reduced. You know what I mean? The severity of it can be reduced where it doesn't turn into these huge blowouts that often happen. And unfortunately, I feel like a lot of the times, we're just in a space where we're conditioned to just react instead of really like responding. Everything is just like an emotional reaction, and the way that we process things is based on our own lenses. And sometimes, as I think you said before, Betterman, you can't always control what your partner is going to say or do. The only thing that we have control of is ourselves and how we're going to respond and rise to the occasion or the situation at hand.
Right.
In my particular circumstance, and a couple of my past relationships, I've had, luckily it wasn't an ongoing thing, but I've had women hit me, in my past relationships as well. And, one of the things that, you know, it really made me reevaluate my relationship in the situation at hand, especially being that I'm not someone who hits women either.
Right.
So, and often, just like in your situation, and the situations that happened in my past, it was because it came from women who were in abusive relationships before me.
Right.
Mhm.
A lot of times that pattern of behavior that repeats from situation to situation in terms of relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And some women, they believe like, if a man don't hit me, he don't love me. You know,
Right.
he doesn't react in that type of way. He not passionate enough about me, or he's not strong enough, and that type of thing like that. And that's
Wow.
really like a faulty way of thinking and feeling. But sometimes when people are not shown better examples, that's what they tend to gravitate towards or default towards. So in my particular situations, I chose to get out of those relationships once I saw it going towards that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily right away, because we all have our emotional attachments and things of that nature.
Right.
It reaches a certain point where you like, this is not healthy,
Right.
and you know that it's going to be destructive to you and to your life.
Right.
If you decide to retaliate in a certain type of way, you know what I mean, or if
Yeah.
it feels like you even need to. That's a big thing. So I'm really, really happy that I chose to step out of that situation for myself, and
Mm-hmm.
just decide I wanted to do better for myself in that regard. I deserve better. I
Exactly.
don't deserve a woman.
Somebody just spoke in the comments of what you just said. They said,
Mhm,
from her point, she wanted to hurt that man before he hurt her, and
mhm,
that's how she went from victim to abuser.
mhm.
So that cycle that you spoke to, it does exist,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like I don't know, man. That's prevalent in a lot of households, for real. And I also want to add to that too, because a lot of times we go from, and we all seen this, we drop bad habits. Like, let's say, for instance, we have a drug dealer. You know what I mean? We have a drug dealer who wants to change his ways, right? He wants to change his ways, but he doesn't want to give up his hustle. You know what I mean? So he wants to keep hustling and all this stuff, but he decides he's going to give up drugs, and now he goes into business for himself. Now he's selling clothes and doing other things, but he never lost his hustle. He just gave up drugs. Right? That's the same type of stuff that we can choose, just like what Betterman was talking about. You know what I mean? You can give up. You know what I mean? That going in on somebody. I'm not gonna go in on you negatively. I'm gonna go in on you, you know, positively. I'm gonna tell you how much I love you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you how much what you mean to me, because you just pissed me off, and I'm gonna think, and I'm so committed to not saying something wild out my mouth no more. I'm gonna tell you how you affected me, because I want to be vulnerable with you. I'm not gonna lose my dominance because I'm choosing to not be negative. I'm gonna show you that all of that hurt is no more, is no longer has a place. Now I'm no longer wedded to the pain. I'm gonna de-identify with
Mm-hmm.
with the negativity, and more so align myself with what will benefit us, just like what the doctor just blessed us with. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
Right.
I'm not decommitting myself from her. You know what I mean? In a abusive situation, because abusive people, we know this, that they're not all the times mild folk. You know what I mean? They're not mild. The common characteristics are aggressive people. You know what I mean? All three of us on this phone, we could potentially be an abuser at some point, and we may not even intentionally. It may never been our intent. You know what I mean? We could have abused anything. We could have abused our authority. We could have abused our emotions. We could have anything, and it never could be our intent. But what we can do is we can switch on our intent to just be, you know, aware of how we affect the people that we come into, you know, into to cross our path. Just like what you just said. If it doesn't benefit me, if it doesn't benefit you, then why am I saying it? You know what I mean? So we can keep that same level of tenacity. You know what I mean? Keep that same level of tenacity, but decide to gear it towards love, gear it towards compassion, gear it towards positivity and understanding, gear it towards taking a step back, gear it towards gritting our teeth and saying the words, saying the positive affirmation, not being afraid, gritting towards being brave. You know what I mean? Because it takes a lot of bravery to break the mold of a domestic violence case. Maybe that person may not know how to accept love. You know what I mean? Like you just told us, Doc. Like the woman, they may not know how to accept love from a place, from a man who has held on, who has put away, like just like what Betterman said. He grew from it. He said he grew from it. So it's like, now it's not saying that he won't ever run into a woman again that excuse me, that won't know how to accept something. You know what I mean? She may not know how to accept no. You know what I'm saying? She may not know how to accept being catered to. She may not. It's a lot of things that we're not women. I don't see a woman on this phone right now. I see them in the comments, but as men, we gotta understand that. And if you cannot take in your place and just decide to be quote unquote a better man and just say, I'm gonna turn the cheek to all the negativity and pout and put my nose up and that, and, you know what I'm saying? You can't do that. The best thing you gotta do is it starts in your mind. Be intentional in your mind to say, if I'm in an abusive situation and if I find myself in an abusive situation, I'm gonna do what's best on my part to enforce positivity in it. You know what I mean? Because you could honestly change a woman. You could honestly change a person's perspective. You can't change them in totality, but you can give them some perspective on how they're affecting you, on how they're affecting the relationship. And sometimes that same thing that attracted you to that abusive woman, you know what I mean? That's nasty that you both, because we not gonna lie, like we attracted who we attracted to. Like you said, like y'all both said it just now. You ain't get out the relationship right away because of emotional ties or something like that. You're attracted to that person. So if you really attracted to that person, find out more about that person. You know what I mean? Because maybe it's something right underneath that abuse that they're dishing out. That's, as a man, women don't have this authority a lot of times. Because men, we're more like tyrants. You know what I mean? It's a fine line between the king and the tyrant. You know what I mean? We're stronger than them, and men, we can overpower them a lot of times. So women don't have that. I'm gonna sit still and work through with this. That's scary for a woman. But for a man, you can really change the trajectory of a relationship if you buckle down and become intentional. And that's the truth. Just to add on to what the doctor just said and what you just said, Betterman.
Yeah. So what Lanice saying is she was never taught or shown how to accept love, so all the abuse she was shown was the only love she knew. That's some serious stuff right there, man.
And that's exactly what we just discussed, though.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we just said. But a man can do that. The same way this woman can be Brittany Griner size. Real talk. Y'all know the lady in Russia?
Yeah, that's locked up here.
She's 6'9", bro. 6'9". Now, I'm not 6'9". I'm more like 6'3", 6'4". But a man that's 5'7" can hit her one time and she'll fold like a napkin. You know what I mean? A lot of times. But the point I'm trying to make is, you take that physical stature and you put it in your heart. You put that strength in your heart and you pour that out to her. That woman that can be 6'9" and never only know what abuse look like, and you take that same physical strength that you have and channel it to your emotional intelligence and dedicate it to guys like us three, you know what I'm saying, to help and support and lean on each other like that, that will turn Lanice's comments around. It will turn it around. But it takes, like we always this, but it seems like when we become adults, we forget it. It takes a village to raise a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, you think we get through this life by ourselves?
Not at
You know
all.
what I'm saying? Adults, it's like we forget that when we become adults, though, right? It's just how important that village still is in getting us through the adulting side of life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Indeed.
I mean, I'm just saying, the least is really giving us jewels, because really men, I've been in domestic violence situations too. I was even falsely accused, and I'm telling y'all, like, and for that to be on you, it was hard for me. Like I literally, I shut down. I went into a state of depression. Like I mean, to be accused of something of that nature and that magnitude, and to make it out of it, it took a lot for me not to get bitter. And what I decided to do was first not speak on it. I didn't speak on it. She took it to court. I'm gonna let the courts handle it. You know, it took me months to come to that realization after I felt the depression and all that stuff. But when I decided to do something about it, first thing I did was remain steadfast and stood on my 10 toes, just like what you did, Betterman. You sound like you did that a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, from the situations that you did present to us. And Doctor, you start telling us about some of the situations on how we can get through it as well. And I'm just appreciative to be amongst y'all, man, because y'all seem like y'all growing somewhere. And I'm trying to grow with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate y'all brothers, man. And,
No question, man.
You know, one thing that I would like to add a little different dynamic to the conversation is talking about like the verbal abuse and the mental abuse type stuff, you know, because a lot of times you know, there can be a lot of beyond name calling, but also devaluing your worth as a man.
Whoa.
That can happen in these relationships that can coincide with the physical abuse on one side or another. And I know that's something that I experienced in my previous marriage, you know, and that took a toll on me. And it took a while for me to realize the toll that it took on me as a man and in my growth and my development, especially, you know, if you're feeling like your money not right and that type of stuff like that. Because that in my situation financially, you know, I wasn't able to at that particular point in time, you know, bring in what, you know, she felt I should have been bringing in, or enough to really support the family. And sometimes when that happens, whether it's in a boyfriend girlfriend type relationship or a marriage, you know, it's like, oh well, you're not a man, you know. Then you start to become these other names, and they start to do things to disrespect you, you know, even to the point where in my situation, you know, I was being disrespected in front of the children. And that was that really kind of like took it over the edge for me in terms of me wanting to leave the situation. But you know, one thing I'll say that I think is important is that we have to find ways to put back into ourselves and our self-esteem without it being self-damaging. You know, so a lot of times when men may experience things of that nature, you know, the tendency, if it's not men choosing to abuse the women that they're in a relationship with, the tendency may be to step out and cheat on that woman. You know, it might be with multiple women. It might be, you know, to drinking alcohol. It might be abusing drugs. You know, and those type of things like that that take away from your essence, take away from your strength and your character. You know, but sometimes we have to find things that we either excel at, or things that or come around people and environments that's going to put back into us. Find things that we love to do that's going to give us, more fortitude in terms of being able to have stronger self-esteem, and realize like the situation doesn't make us. Our strength is coming from, for those of us who believe in the divine spirit, is coming from that, or it's coming from within us. The situation doesn't define who you are as a man, and I think that that's important to remember going through these circumstances.
Yeah, like what you said, like when devaluing. I saw this comments. I'm guilty of shutting down. When I had a situation like that earlier today, and I was just having a communication breakdown. I'm not necessarily with the young lady, but it was just some communication, and she started to yell, and I'm like, that's not what we doing. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't. This situation doesn't cause for that, and it doesn't have to go there. You know what I mean? So, and I had to teach her how to speak to me, and this is real talk. Like I had to teach her, like, get your point across, say it before it builds up, because I'm not the place for explosion. I'm the place for communication. You know what I mean? We have rifle ranges and gun ranges for stuff like that. If you want something to explode, that can get a kick out of it. But this, I'm not that. You know what I mean? I'm not a caliber. You know what I mean? I'm here. I'm human. You know, I'm a man. So speak to me as such. And she straight right on up. And I had to reel my value back in, because just speaking to me any type of way, it kind of devalue, my position. And she didn't necessarily attack me personally, but it was a call to reckon on where is my position, and how is she going to respect it, and how am I going to allow my position to be respected. So I'm huge with that, and that's abusive behavior, but it wasn't intentional. It was quickly adjusted and corrected. And then because a lot of times you gotta think, women, they feel a lot of emotions and stuff like that because they always take stuff in, even in sex. They receive us, you know what I mean? Natural, you know what I mean? The natural forms of sex, they receive the man. So they're accepting our energy, our emotions, all that. We will never be able to understand that, no matter what you do. You know what I mean? We will never be able to understand that. So we take it when we hear words from us, but when we hear words from them, and that's disrespectful or hurtful, man, that can crumble our whole life. You know what I mean? With just two or three words. They don't even gotta say nothing. They could just say something like, "Oh, your cologne stink," but it took you 3 hours to get cologne in Macy's. You know what I'm saying? But and they don't like it. Now you like, dang, you'll spend another 3 hours in Macy's picking it out. You know, I'm picking out another one. But it can affect you. You know what I mean? Words do affect us. The men, at least.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think
So, like, I want to ask a question to Dr. Yu. As far as because I can go on for days, man, about my situations, but we ain't got time. But as far as getting to the healing part, holistically, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that really entail to get to that? You know what I'm saying? What we got to do for holistic healing?
Well, I go back to what I just said in terms of putting into ourselves, like investing into ourselves in terms of time, in terms of energy, and not necessarily in environment. You know what I mean? And not necessarily continuing to put yourself in, for lack of a better way of putting it, toxic situations. But really doing things that are good for you, good for your spirit, good for your mind, good for your body. Like, for example, You know, some people handle stress by working out. That's an example of a positive way of putting back into yourself. You know, you channel that energy that you don't want or that you don't like, and you put it into a physical activity that's not harmful for you or for anyone else. You know what I mean? Meditation. You know, meditation is one of those things where a lot of people talk about it and kind of dismiss it at the same time. But it can be very powerful and it can be very useful as a tool because meditation actually has been scientifically shown to even calm down inflammation in the brain on a physical level. So you think about it, you know, from the physical state, anytime we're upset, we angry, we're emotionally distressed, our brain becomes inflamed.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, to get things that's going to help to cool down the temperament, you know what I mean? Meditation is one of those type of things. And meditation is not always what people perceive it to be or what you see on TV. Everybody think meditation is just about, oh, I got to sit with my legs crossed and have my fingers like this and you know, have my eyes closed. Meditation ain't, that's not the only form of meditation. Meditation could be in cleaning. Meditation can be in walking. You can have moving meditation. But the time where you are able to sit down, you know, or lie down and really like take that time for yourself to be still and be quiet is also very helpful. And incorporating breathing, you know, deep breathing from your diaphragm area, not
Mm-hmm.
from your chest area. So that way you can get fuller breaths, more oxygen into the body, and more oxygen will help the body to relax, to be in a cooler, calmer type of a state, and helps you to be more equipped to deal with or to handle stress. You know how the saying count to 10 when you're upset about something,
Mm-hmm.
the 10, take 10 deep breaths. That type stuff actually works if you choose to implement it because it allows time for the body to offset those inflammatory processes that come alongside the anger and the frustration. You know, sometimes all you need is a moment. Go out and take a walk. You know, and that goes back to that piece about responding versus reacting.
Mm-hmm.
I also like what Brother Matthew had said earlier too. Um, he had mentioned just it just slipped me too. And I was just thinking about it. But you had mentioned something earlier that I really appreciated that you said about, I know what it was, about the fasting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, about the fasting from the things that don't really serve you. You know what I mean? And sometimes that could be foods. One of the things that I know my sister Queen Afi loves when I talk about is how
Oh,
different areas of the body coincide with different emotions. And sometimes the foods that we eat, not even sometimes, the majority of the time, the foods that we eat will coincide with the emotions and sometimes can lead you to hold on to more negative emotions because the foods we eat are heavy, they congest the different organs. So when we talk about um, disease, you know, and patterns of disease, you know, from my standpoint, I'm a holistic health consultant and an herbalist. So I see a lot of things
Wow. I mean, that's good.
manifest in people in terms of patterns. And there are theories that coincide with that. But let's say if somebody is experiencing a lot of fear and anxiety, it tends to manifest itself as kidney issues.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody tends to experience a lot of anger and frustration, it tends to manifest itself as liver issues. You know, if somebody tends to express themselves in a way where it's very cruel, you know, they don't have enough joy in their life. It might manifest itself as heart issues. You know, and think, you know, I was making this point the other day.
Balance is key.
A, a, a few people, quite a few people I know, you know, who have had either issues with, you know, being abusive or being excessively violent, they might have not only I've seen people pass away from heart attacks where that was like a character trait in their personality. You know what I mean? And I'm sure if you think about people who even have had issues with heart, or the liver is associated with drinking a lot. You drink a lot of alcohol, you're going to get cirrhosis of the liver or something to that effect, where the liver starts to waste away. But other elements, the other organs of the body is like, when you're dealing with, let's say, if you hold in a lot of stuff, you don't really like process things well. You might have issues with your colon or intestines,
Mm-hmm.
constipation, and things of that nature. So how you feel, is a big factor in how your body works, and also the foods coincide with that. Because if you eat a lot of heavy fried foods, if you eat a lot of meats, a lot of dairy products, a lot of sugar, a lot of salt, all of those things that's in most of the foods that we're trained and conditioned to eat, and that we've grown to love, in a sense, those foods are unhealthy for us. They congest those same organs, and they can reinforce those negative emotions. So, the fasting piece, making sure that we're giving up, some of those things that are not as healthy for us, actually helps to free up the energy in those particular areas, and can help to free up some of those negative emotions too. So that's part of the healing process also. I'm a turn it over to Brother Matthew, because I'm sure he has some things to add, but those are some of the things that come to the top of my mind.
Oh yeah, definitely. I didn't have much to add, man. I was taking that all in because I was reading some in the comments too. Actually, they said some men handle stress by working out and meditation. Meditation is huge. Working out is healthy. Helps to increase the mood. Um, so yeah.
You went out, Matt.
You
Yeah,
hear me?
Brother Matthew.
We can hear you now.
Okay, my bad. Just that can increase the mood, so that works. But I just wanted to just say, that's I'm all about it, man. I'm all about it. And we all can become abusive. I'm just letting y'all know. We can grow into that. So choose how you want to grow. You know what I mean? There are some things we don't say right off the bat. We hold our tongue in some ways. We can be doing damage to ourselves. So let's heal ourselves. You know what I mean? Let's be the changes that we needed when we were younger. You know what I mean? When we were in our yesteryears and our past relationships, be those changes today. You know what I mean? It's a charge to y'all. I mean, we get charges when we do something we ain't got no business doing in this world. So why not charge each other with something, positive and that can reinforce our future. So yeah, that's all I wanted to add.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And it's important too, on getting on the physical level again. It's important too to make sure that we're staying hydrated. We're drinking enough water. Most men that I know don't drink enough water anywhere near. To maintain general health. And water also coincides energetically with the emotions too. So a lot of times when if you think about water from an energetic standpoint, water is a carrying agent, right? Things travel in water, whether it be food, nutrients, emotions, all of those things can travel through water, through fluid. You know what I mean? So if you don't have enough fluid and you have something trying to move, what's going to happen is going to tend to get stuck. It's going
Mm-hmm.
to tend to have some stagnation. And that can happen from an energy standpoint too. So water is a very, very important thing. And some people even benefit from being by water, by bodies of water, the ocean,
Mm-hmm.
uh, rivers, especially rivers, because rivers move. You know what I mean? Sometimes you see people with the little water fountains in their home. You know what I'm saying? Those things like that kind of help to calm you down and keep that energy flowing instead of
Yeah.
it being stuck and building up. to the point where it's more likely to explode out, you know. And there are herbs that help out too with calming down stress. Um, from a multitude of different levels. I'm not going to talk extensively about herbs, even though I can, you know, but that'll be another time. But I'll mention, you know, a couple things that are pretty readily accessible. You know, the first one being chamomile. Chamomile, most grocery stores or supermarkets carry it. You know, very good for like dealing with stress, dealing with anxiety, dealing with helping you to get a better, more restful sleep, those type of things like that. You know, so chamomile is definitely one of those herbs that can be really useful in that regard. You know,
I
and
drank the tea last night, not to cut you off.
uh-huh.
Yeah, put me out. Almost late for work this morning. But it took a minute to kick in. That's the only thing, man. It took a minute to kick in because, like, I don't know. I say for the last 2 months, I've been divorced since the end of February. But you know, she blocked on everything, but she still manages to call me with no call ID. I don't answer. We work at the same job. I was where she was supervising at, but she's since been removed from there. So all that's better for me because she attacked me one day like 2 weeks ago in the break room alone, man. And I recorded it on audio, but I didn't like share it with no authorities. But I told her if she do it again, I'm writing some paperwork and she gonna get fired. You know what I'm saying? Because the worst thing I can do is not do the right thing and then let her get to me so bad that I snap.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
put
bro.
my hands on her.
You gotta get ahead of that.
Yeah.
You gotta get ahead of that, bro. Like, you gotta get ahead of that. You know what I mean? Remove the emotions, look at the black and white. Because growing up, we've all seen the person that retaliates gets caught. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, gotta get ahead of that, brother. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I got audio of
no more threats. No more threats. Because that's essentially you saying you giving her, if you do that again, I'm gonna report it. That's a threat.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you don't want to threat her. That's mild abuse. That's you already giving her, feeding it. She's taking away your dominion. You know what I mean? You gotta get ahead of that. Remove the emotions, look at the black and white. You have a life that you're preparing to develop. And I don't know your entire situation, but I care more about the man that you're presenting to me than the man that you're when you're being mistreated. I care more about the one I'm saying right now. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna tell you today, in front of our audience, in front of me being a guest, and allow you guys me on this call tonight. I would be remiss to allow that to just go down the river. We gonna stop it right here. Like, you have to take care of that. Like, don't let that's no light incidents, bro. You can go to jail. You can lose your job. You're another statistic at that point.
Right.
You know what I mean? Look
but the
at
crazy
the
thing though, I don't know if I made it clear or not. The crazy part is it wasn't a violent attack. It was a sexual attack.
That's worse.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't touch me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can hear me on the audio saying, like, stop touching me. You know what I'm saying? And like, I do music, so it was like, I think the woman has lost her mind. You know what I mean? She came to the break room knowing I was in there by myself. She actually bought her Bluetooth speaker, played a song that I just released like a month and a half or two ago, and started rapping it to me. And then proceeded to start filling me up, you know what I'm saying, grabbing for my man and all that, you know, I'm trying to get me. And I'm trying to get out the room. But I recorded all of it on audio. You can hear it clear as day. But it's like, you know, I don't want her to lose her job, not because I care about her, just as another human being. She got like 21 years in Metro. You know what I'm saying? If I could get her to leave me alone is what I want to do. Not, okay, I gotta go to, you know, your management so they can get you out of here. I ain't want to do that. So what I did do, you know what I'm saying, I spoke with a couple of people that's real close to her. And I was like, yo, just have a talk with her. Let her know I ain't going for that. Leave me alone. And if it happens again,
public. That's good.
Yeah, and if it happens again, then I'm going to the authorities, and she's gonna lose her job.
Give it the benefit
like
of the doubt.
That threat that I said that I made, that if you do it again, I'm gonna put some paperwork on you. The response I got was, "Oh, you make me lose my fucking job, you gonna lose everything."
That's all I'm saying, bro. But we don't want to get too tied up in it because I know we coming to a close. But I like to give everybody, like, what I like to do when we have stuff like this, and I can just bring this to y'all. I steal this from my therapist sometime a couple of years back. But we like to give 15 seconds of fame. We just go around the room, around the studio here with us, and we just share our in 15 seconds we give something that we're proud of, from the call today, something that was most impactful, something that our favorite part about today. So what are you proud of about ourselves, like what we presented and sharing and being vulnerable about ourselves? So I would do it first in 15 seconds. I just say I'm proud that I adapted to the way that you guys were being open, and I'm able to share this platform with y'all, and I'm appreciative of that, like real talk. So that's my 15 seconds of fame. Like, I'm glad I got a chance to share the spotlight with y'all today.
Well, I'm glad I was able to receive some positive feedback, you know what I'm saying, from what I shared, because I try not to keep things bottled in, so I've been sharing it with close friends and family of mine for the duration of how long it's been going on. But you don't get a lot of positivity from that. You don't get the what you should do with really thinking about it before you do it. You get man, fuck that bitch, do this, do that, you know what I'm saying, this and that. And you hear that so many times, and then you be like ready to do that, but in your head you're like, nah. Like, I had a guy say that he didn't think I was from where I was from because I allowed her to talk to me the way she talked to me. I'm like, it ain't got nothing to do with that, bro, because I know if I do something, I can lose everything I got. So I'm just being smart, you know what I'm saying? And I'm from there, but I'm not there. That's the difference. But yeah, so to be able to talk to y'all guys, man, and get it from a different aspect on a positive note, I really appreciate that. I'm glad I was here to share with y'all, man.
Thank you. I'm proud that we were all able to be open, able to be honest, and respect each other's dialogue, and still share some things that may help the people who are listening, and maybe touch their lives and give them something that they can apply or identify with to move forward. So I'm grateful for this opportunity to share the platform with you brothers as well.
I'm ready to do it again, man. Y'all just let me know whenever y'all ready, man.
Yeah, I threw the IG in the chat. _DHS_fatherhood. That's on IG, and I believe it's pretty much the same thing on Facebook as well. But I'll be looking forward to tapping in with y'all boys from there.
All right, cool.
I'll also put my number in here that you guys can reach me at if you want to check the private chat.
All right.
And then we gonna be building tomorrow, celebrating some birthdays tomorrow, just getting together with a bunch of dads, and just collaborating, building, just sharing positivity, and that's it, man. So
hey, Matt, can I ask you a question? I think I haven't met you before, man.
I don't know, bro.
I think you sound like a guy that I met once that came around around Montello to the store, and we was talking in there, and my guys from Cure the Streets, and I think it was a guy, man, remind me of you. I don't know if it was you or not, man, but we had one encounter and we was because I always do a turkey drive in my neighborhood around Trinidad,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we was talking about who we can get some stuff from, and we spoke about a couple of different programs and a couple of different people, but we never really connected.
I'm gonna be around 8th Street tomorrow. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we can I put my number in the chat if you want to talk. And
All right, yeah. I'm I'm like 12 and a half hours a day now. I just got back. I was injured, but I'm back driving the bus, so I'm like 12 and a half hours, man. I almost missed this, man, because I was sleepy when I got off.
Take my number out the chat.
Yeah, I get it. I get it though.
We can connect.
Yeah, I do the same.
If not tomorrow, some other time, man.
For sure. That'll work, man. So yeah, I mean, I'll get everything out the chat, man. Queen, thanks for inviting me.
Thanks, Queen.
Anytime I'm here, we can do this all day, all night.
Well,
thanks, Queen. Yeah, and I'll give my my contact info if anybody wants to reach out. I'm at Dr. U on Instagram. Dr. U is spelled DOCTAYEW. And you can find me on Facebook.com/Dr. U as well.
Cool. Oh yeah, my tag is Betterman202 on Instagram, BETTAMAN 202. That's on Instagram. Twitter is just Betterman, and Facebook is Betterman. My real page for my friends and family, Shed Dawson, is full. So you can follow the Betterman page on Facebook, Betterman on Twitter, and Betterman202 on Instagram.
Yes, sir. We want to hear about the Betterman. Personal
side. Yeah, man. We gonna get into it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank y'all.